Okay, well, hello again, friends. Welcome. Thanks for the thumbs up already. Somebody's giving me a thumbs up. Welcome to another projectFLY stream where we will be using a call sign. This flight's going to be a little bit different. We're back at Shoreham and at max takeoff with about a ton and a bit of fuel, we should be able to just about depart with a little bit of margin and room for error. Which is quite impressive. I'll talk you through the performance in a moment. But it just goes to show this this runway, just looking at the chart. The runway is 3,400 feet long, which is 1,036 meters. The takeoff run available on runway 20, the same one we landed on last night, is 908 meters. It's 798 because of the displaced threshold. And obviously, the takeoff run is ever so slightly different. I assume we've got not quite the full length available at the other end. So there's a little bit of scope for overrun. Otherwise, we'd have the full 1036. So we should have comfortably about 10% extra to play with. You find us parked up here on the ramp. I'm not even sure you're allowed to taxi these on the grass. You're certainly not allowed to land these on grass, although they probably would do it. I don't think. Would you get anything coming off of the landing gear up into the engines? Maybe. Unsure. But I'm sure could put it down or take it off on grass if you really needed to, but of course the performance isn't there. Got no ATC. We're heading to Ortho. The reason that this flight is going to be slightly different is because we're going to be an IFR flight outside controlled airspace. We're going to be skirting around the London TMA, and we're only going to be entering it effectively inbound to Bovingdon. And I might cut the corner off there. Apologies about the mic, it seems to be cutting out. So we're going to be going, I suppose I can try and show you on here. We're going to be taking off straight out over the coast before going towards Goodwood, and then heading up our first waypoint, which is designed to keep us clear. I think the podium is HAZEL, and then direct up to that Compton there. Yes, that's Compton. Because what's that? Benson. So that's the TAC end at Benson. Then we're going to go effectively to DONNA, which is a waypoint over here somewhere. Maybe I should have it on the low on route. Anyway, DONNA is out here. I wonder why that's not shown. Which takes us to the north of Booker, Wickham Air Park. And we're only going through the mats at Benson, so military aircraft would be permission to cross that. Civvy aircraft could ignore it. I'd rather go over there than directly over Booker with the gliding and everything else. Then we're going to go to Bovingdon. We're going to be inside Class A at this point. We're going to be up to 4,000, and then Compton we're going to descend to 3 to keep with the cruising level rules. And then we're going to be doing an ILS up to 25, so we'll probably self-position for that. Nobody's online, but that's what we're doing. We're skirting all the way around. We could go up and we could try and join the arrivals for Heathrow at HAZEL at 130, but we'd have to really skirt out over the sea, and that's all a bit of a mess. So why not just do something at relatively low level, was my thought. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to plan all the performance off that as well. So here is the jet. Let's get some fuel in. I was doing the performance. We need 1102. That's 333 for a 35-minute trip. Contingency of Gatwick 47 kilos 5 minutes. Alternate is Manchester with 313. And the final reserve of half an hour is 202 kilos. Gives us a minimum takeoff of 895. I've added 15 minutes extra, 153. We're effectively at max zero fuel weight. We're actually about 2 or 3 kilos under it. We've got 6447, 6450 is our max zero fuel. And this says we're going to have 54 for taxi, which is probably going to be about accurate, to be honest, giving us 1102. So let's get the aeroplane fueled up. Amps will work. Did we have 735, 738 on board? So 1110 I think is what we can hope for. Oh, a little bit high. There we go. So let's that loaded, the cutoff works. Gatwick's online. I think Heathrow Tower was online but not approach. So we're not going to necessarily get any service from them. London comes online, we will talk to them. He's going in and out of Elstree. Don't know why we don't show up. Maybe it's just because it's everyone else. And as you can see, it doesn't take that long to fuel this up. With pressure fueling, you can do gravity fed on the wings. There are filling points on each wing, but the central port is obviously a lot more convenient. That says we've got 1115. So we'll double check that. Cockpit, let's turn all that off. Fuel panel secured. Let's tell you what, let's go round. Whoa, that was a bit quick. It's a good looking jet, isn't it? I'm sure I'll design a better livery at some point, but it's a good looking jet, even in plain white. Nice and clean. So, baggage is shut. Let's jump in. We have got everything set. I've got a few keystrokes sorted out, so got seatbelts mapped to a couple of switches, which should make things a bit better. I've got the window heat mapped, although maybe I should, I suppose, no, I'll tell you what, I've got ice protection mapped. Yes, that made more sense. So, get the batteries on. There we go. 2105. Set that now. Departure. I'm going to set 4-1. We haven't been cleared, but that is going to be our departure. And a quick check of everything. Off and up.
TOS system test. Okay.
Let's do the fire checks.
Fire. Fire.
So tours, wait for TCAS.
TCAS test. Pass.
There's all the enunciators working.
Stall. Stall.
Stall protection
Stall.
works.
Stall.
Leave the hydraulic pumps off. We have fueled up, but we'll leave the belts off for a moment. Fuels auto, cross feeds off, push cutouts out, windshield heats off, probes auto, are all out, one's guarded, off, off, inspection light not required. Set these to auto, flaps up, speed brakes up, throttle's idle, parking brake is on, the emergency lights armed. It's effectively our flow. Now you can see we are not connected to the GPU, so the batteries are dropping to 24.5, which I'm not convinced is enough for start. So before start, 27 volts GPU is required. Better get the GPU on. I don't even know if there would be a GPU here. It's been connected. There you go. Got the enunciator there to say that it has. There we go, 28.5. So, is that realistic? Would they have dropped off that much? Not sure. Sure indeed. Anyway, pressure altitude, you can see standard pressure minus 14 meters. So our sea level pressure, the airfield elevation here is about 7 feet. QNH is about 1015. Let's actually get that. So 1550 Zulu, 24017 gust 27. So 40 degrees, 2/3 of 17 is about a 5 knot headwind. Uh, 24017 gust 27. You can't take the gusts into account, you just got to go with the steady wind. 10k plus. Showers in the vicinity, few at 2000. Scattered 3200. Temperature 13, so we'll do the performance for 10. 2.9 QNH 1015, which we can set. That should give us about 0. Like I say, 7 feet, close enough. Transponder set 2000 off. Get all of those tuned up. I suppose the biggest question is, are we going to nav VOR to VOR? We could, but in an aeroplane this quick, probably not going to. So I will put Goodwood in. What I am going to do is set up for the ILS 1085. So that's for Northolt. And if we do, let's do Goodwood first. Goodwood VOR 11475. And nav2, we can put, I tell you what, why don't we do, we're going Goodwood, Compton, Bovington, now we can switch over between the two, 1435. 11375, that's for the mist anyway, 11435, have active, have 2, and put the transponder on standby. Okay, set 250 for Northolt. I'm going to set 357, yes. And if we need to use those, we'll swap it around. The runway heading is 202. 10 degrees to the right after takeoff. Certainly manage that. And we've got 1114 on board. So that's going to give us a ramp weight, which of course is going to reduce, so I'll probably round it down to the nearest 10, but we're still going to be rounding it up for the departure counts. We've got a zero fuel of 6447, plus 1114, so ramp weight on 7561, I'm going to be rounding that up to 7.6, because we're definitely not going to be falling down into the 7.4 category. We are using 10 degrees, we're using 5 knots headwind. So if I zoom this in, there you go, pressure altitude 0, it's going to be flap 2, so do not forget flap 2, otherwise we are going to be relatively unhappy. 10 degrees, we're going to need 847 meters at 7.6. And of course that doesn't take, no, what did I say, 15, 859, so 859, 15 degrees, because the air is less dense the warmer it gets. That gives us, you can see there, 98, 108, and then 132. So 300, I think we're going to safely burn 200, so for landing, we're going to use 7400, which is going to be a fuel of 7400, take away 6447, our zero fuel is 953. So as long as we're 953 or less, of course, 753 if we do, down to 7.2 for landing. What I can do is set these speeds now. So 98. 108, 132. So, landing wise, I think it's safe to assume we'll burn at least 200 kilos by the time we taxi and everything else. I don't think we'll burn 4. So, a safe bet is 7.4 for landing. I will do performance for 7.2. See lots of these to go through, especially with anti-ice on, etc. So there are our speeds. Got to do that one, that one, that one. And I'm happy to go with flap 1 on arrival. Could just about make Charlie if we screamed on the brakes and everything, but we don't need to do that, so we can have a relaxed arrival into Northolt. So 7.4 is 118, 30, 115, 7.2 is 117, 4, it's 128, 4, so we set those up ready and then confirm the distance. So 118, 35, flap 1, flap 3, and then if we look at the performance for flap 1, flap 3, off, landing flap 3, the pressure altitude of 1000, the elevation at Northolt is 124, 126. It's only going to be a difference of about, looking at Northolt 1014, so 30 feet difference. It's not going to take us back down to sea level, and if we assume 0 wind, 821 meters. Just double checking. So, like I say, 821, and the runway available on 25 is 1558. It's beyond the threshold. Gives us 934. We've got 821, and that's with the 60% factor. So we're happy to easily accept that because the winds and everything else will be fine. So it's flap 1, flap 3, flap 2 for departure, 7.4. We end up heavier, I'll have to recalculate the performance. So, start thinking about getting the show on the road. So, flight plan, as I said, our routing is direct to Goodwood, which is Golf Ski Charlie. Then we are going to HAZEL. We are going to Compton. DONNA. And then direct to Bovingdon. direct to Northolt. There is no departure. We are going to select ILS for 2.5. The minimums for that approach, if we assume minimum climb gradient of 5%, go lower, it's 2.5, we can't, we'll assume 5%, because I think it's just airways, not obstacles. And so that will give us 374, which of course we round up to 380 for category B. We can load that, that's done. So let's have a look at our route. There you go, you can see us skirting round, missing out Odium, a bit close to Lasham, but better than nothing. And this actually keeps us clear of controlled airspace. Can't pan, can I? Until effectively DONNA. So just before DONNA is when we enter controlled airspace. The rest is all outside. So that's our route done. And we're probably a bit early, to be honest. We've got 1114 on board. Oh, it's a shame the clouds are flickering a bit. If we need to, we could do an RMP back to this runway. Is there anybody else around? Is anybody at our airport? There is a bit of traffic. So Heathrow approach is on, so we can tune up on 725. And we'll give them a call before we want to enter the TMA. So anything else to do speed-wise? I suppose we should set that. It's 132. Well, I suppose you could argue. Tell you what, I'll set 160 because we want to get the flaps up. Because 132 will have a bug. So 160 is a good reminder. And I probably should have already put the nav lights on. So there we are, all secured, ready to go. Let's imagine our packs have loaded up. First, run through a quick panel scan. Check the landing field elevation. Our altitude is -50, which is fine. Landing out's 1024, also fine. So pre-flight test done, oxygen bottles pushed in, and go for dispatch. We've got rated at 27 volts, yes we have. GPU is on. Lead panel is all auto. Pumps, fuel pumps, auto, cross B is off, hydraulic pumps both on, pusher cutout is out, ice protection, pop windshields on, no others required, engine file power, bottles both out, and sorry, both shut-offs out, bottles off, both EIS set stop, ignition both set auto, thrust levers are indeed idle. Flaps up, speed brake up, and we can therefore shut the door. And with no ATC online, short traffic prefect 99, engine start, east of the control tower apron. There is no parking indication of wherever this is. And in reality, you wouldn't really call, I suppose for jets you call for engine start, but most of the traffic isn't going to. You could announce that you're starting up. So, doors shut, nobody's there to give us clearance. So we'll clear ourselves. It's going to be a straight ahead departure as we cross the railway line. The noise abatement is 10 degrees to the right, and then cross the coast and on track. And we can check with the ground crew, clear to start. And what I will do is put the ECS to both. It is 16:36. 1114 and start engine number 2. That looks stable. Tell the ground crew to disconnect once we have turned off the available power. And as you can see, the caution disappears and the little picture disappears. Generator on the second engine starts to take up all the load. They'll tell us that they have disconnected. Signal start engine number 1. Caution's gone. Green. So after start, GPU is disconnected. Emergencies out, and we've got greater than 23.5 volts. So protection test and takeoff data we've done. Trims all set to neutral. Flight controls, full free, pitch, roll, and you're not do the spoiler. It doesn't deploy. It doesn't tell us that it won't be deploying. Ice protection, window heats on, nothing else required. Flaps set 2 for takeoff. Can't help thinking that could be a better gauge. You know, like full down here would be great. Anyway, flaps 2 set for takeoff. So with that in mind, what we should have done as well is put the transponder on. And we are going to self-taxi, so taxi lights on, clear left, clear right. It is, it's going to be 16:39. Brakes off. And we've got 1106. Brakes work. Short traffic, prefect 99 taxi, kilo 1, holding short runway 20 via kilo 5 and kilo. So we should be able to get out here. All around. A little bit of clutter's not too bad, but unlike London City where you desperately need all the space you can get. So we're going to follow this taxiway all the way around. Use as much runway as we can get when we get down there. And we'll go full static power before we start rolling. Shuttle above us, he's not coming in here. So this should be runway 24. We'll update this place. A buddy of mine flies, learning to fly FDA, so some good need some pictures of him for dating this airfield. Well, it's pretty good effort.
Takeoff. Okay.
Good, so we've done the takeoff check. I suppose we could use the seatbelt sign or the start as a reminder. So let's get those on. Head belts off. Fuel damper off. Ice protection not required. ETR green we can't do. Advise the packs. Lights and transponder are the final checks. Short traffic, Prefect 99 lining up, taking off, runway 20, IFR departure to the west. Is that meant to be a tree or an aerial? I guess it's just a side-on X-plane tree. Check on the map, nobody else is about. A bit snug down here. We end up coming crop of any of these signs. Oh, I guess not. This is rather tight though. So here's the runway right down here. I could say the one that we landed on last night.
Approaching 20.
Should have done lights. Whoa. Camera action.
On runway 20, 2,800 feet remaining.
So there's the runway heading. Put the brake on so we don't waste any more time. I've got IDEM maps, so I don't need to worry about that anymore. What I do need is Barrow available. Good, so we are good to go. We're going to be off at 16:45, I think. At 108 something on the fuel. So 108.5. I'm going to lock the wheel.
On runway 20. On runway 20.
It's full left rudder and nothing's happening. Just because of the wind.
Caution, short runway, short runway.
Okay, it's a bit more effective now. Coming up to rotate, there it is. Oh, we had loads of room there. It just goes to show what we can get away with. Managed to not hit Toga. Positive rate. Gear up. Managed to not do the turn due to the turbulence. Let's get the airplane accelerating. Certainly bumpy. And there's the airplane accelerating. Flaps up. There's 160. There we go. Autopilot's on. Let's go level change. Should we go 180? Flaps up, gear up. Four dampers on. Max climb thrust set. And we'll level off at 4. Pressurization not going to really be an issue. Altimeter's cross-checked. Changing setting. Less protection as required. Lights as required. Good. Let's get on our way. Let's head 270. Short traffic. Prefect 99 departing the zone to the southwest. Should have told them how high as well. Let the airplane level off and then we'll speed her up. So we'll aim for 240. Set cruise and see what happens. And let's go. Flight plan. Direct. Direct to nav. See, it's rather bumpy. So I'm happy the airplane's accelerating. A horrible day, maybe we do want to get above this. No chance. So let's check the ATIS for Heathrow. Bravo, 27 left. Happy days. So in reality, IFR outside of control is seen as relatively risky, so it isn't done. But at some points you do have to go outside controlled airspace if you go to Exeter, Newquay for instance. But routinely flights like these are planned via airways. But in the UK it's perfectly legal, you don't have to tell anyone that you're flying IFR. Let's just get the speed settled down here. You can perfectly legally be flying outside IFR, no flight plan required either. It's just a set of rules to follow. Not bad departure, like I say, just so bumpy, probably be alright. Pop the engine anti-ice on as we pop through this cloud. Where you really need an auto throttle. You can see that the CSC is struggling to keep up, but I think it's doing the best that it can. Sometimes I'm tempted to turn head shake off just because activating switches that bit unnecessarily difficult. So as you can see, we are tracking towards Goodwood, and we've got Compton on number 2. So we could follow those if we needed to. No, we are just going straight direct. We are going to be going to HAZEL, so our OFP would give us a radial outbound that we could follow until we intercepted another, which would give us HAZEL. You could do that. 2 VOR radials can give you an intersection. We'd intercept that radial inbound. Of course, we'll just let the GPS do it because it's easier. There's the airfield of Goodwood and the motor racing circuit around the outside. Again, somewhere I've never been because it's a rather expensive landing. So let's have a think about where we'll call up Heathrow, maybe over Compton. And then I think we go into the TM8 actually between DONNA and Bovingdon. Try to climb up to 6. No, so HAZEL is just underneath, needing an airways crossing. But I suppose we could, if we wanted to, request that from Solent. So just over here is a fillet of airspace that I think is Class D. TMZ, yeah, CTA4. Oh no, I'll tell you what, we could probably go over the top of that. I know we could. It's the Farnborough CTA. It's Class Echo. So in theory, VFR could fly through it. Goes up to 5,500. So we're still on QNH. The transition level around here is 6,000. See what Odium's QNH is, just like you would in reality. You just call up and ask. 2997. It's not much use in the X-plane map when it's not set for that. So Heathrow, ATIS, for approach, it was information Bravo, wasn't it? H1014, so we're only 30 feet off at the very worst. This would not be a fun flight in reality, bouncing around. Go overhead HAZEL and direct to Compton, so we can flick onto nav 1 for the ILS. 240 is a nice cruising speed, 4 miles a minute. Makes the maths nice and easy, makes the drift nice and easy. So max drift with a crosswind of 25 is going to be a quarter. 6 degrees drift, which is about what we've got. 5-6 degrees, there you go, that's 344, 338. I think this is with turbulence turned right down as well in active sky. So I'm not going to use VNAV because it's just when we're overhead Compton that we're going to be turning. 25 miles, 4 miles a minute. Call it 5 minutes, we've got 6 there. Oh, no, it's 6 of course it is, isn't it? 25. And my 4 is 6 1/4. So you can see, it does make maths easier if your brain's in gear.
Good afternoon, this is Speedbird 976 Kilo at stand 507 with information Bravo. Airbus 320 requires the clearance to destination.
Speedbird 976 Kilo, Heathrow Director. Hello, you're clear to Hanover. It's the Brookman's Park 7 Golf departure. Squawk 0260.
We are clear to destination Brookman Park 7 Golf departure at squawk 0260, Speedbird 976 Kilo.
Speedbird 976 Kilo, correct, QNH 1014.
Roger, copy QNH 1014, Speedbird 976 Kilo.
Heathrow Director, good afternoon, Prefect 9. It's going to flummox him.
Prefect 99 Heathrow Director, hello, pass your message.
Prefect 99 is a Phenom 300. Goodwood, correction, Shoreham to Northolt, currently passing the beam. Odium, routing direct. Compton, DONNA, Bovingdon, IFR, and requesting zone entry. Get to between DONNA and Bovingdon, altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1015, information Bravo.
Prefect 99, Roger, Squawk 7071, and what service would you like outside controlled airspace?
Squawk 7071, deconfliction service, Prefect 99.
Shuttle 8 Romeo, surface wind 250 degrees, 15 knots for 927 left of base 1.
First 127 left, Shuttle 8 Romeo.
Prefect 99, you're identified as the deconfliction service, QNH 1014.
Deconfliction service, QNH 1014, Prefect 99. Good to see that it's settled down a bit.
And Prefect 99, some early traffic information for you. Traffic straight ahead, 15 miles, indicating altitude 5,000 feet, and is unknown. News routing, roughly southwesterly.
Roger, I think I've got him contact just north of Compton.
Yeah, that's correct to me. Super 1370, by November Bravo 3, line up runway 27 left. Line up runway 27 left, Speedbird 1370.
So we should be separated by at least 1,000 feet if everyone follows the rules.
Good afternoon, shuttle.
223 Tango. Is he really that low? Oh, I suppose if he's following the departure.
Shuttle 70 Heathrow Director, pass your message. Ready for the rest, good afternoon. Shuttle 7 Zulu, current stand 5038320, the get clearance, please to Manchester. Shuttle 7 Zulu, it's information Bravo, current QNH1014, clear Manchester. Unlats 1 Golf departure, squawk 4454.
There we go.
Two Manchester of that 1 Golf departure, information Bravo, QNH1014, squawk 4454, Shuttle 7 Zulu. Shuttle 7 Zulu, correct. Speedbird 906, ready time, ET71. Super 996, stand by. Charlie Romeo, welcome to Heathrow, taxi second left on Bravo, then link 56, stand 505. Yes, it's second left on Bravo, then link 56, stand 505. Second left on Bravo, link 56, stand 505, Super 906, taxi Alpha, hold November Bravo 3. Taxi Alpha, hold November Bravo 3, Speedbird 906. Super 1370, surface wind 250 degrees, 15 knots, 1927 master boost for takeoff. Clear for takeoff, Speedbird 1370. Ready for approach, good evening, Symphony Alpha 1, A321 on stang 2 seconds, on stang 611, looking for clearance to Gibraltar. Symphony Alpha 1, hello, clear Gibraltar, Golf C2 Golf departure, squawk 4664. Clear to Gibraltar on the GOG S2 Kilo, squawk 4664, Symphony Alpha 1. Symphony Alpha 1, negative, GOG C2 Golf, from runway 27 left. GOG C2 Golf from 27 left.
Oh dear.
Symphony Alpha 1. Symphony Alpha 1, correct. Information for Bravo, current QNH1014.
Oh dear, oh dear. It's very disappointing.
QNH1014, Symphony Alpha 1. 7137.
Looks like a disconnect. A big old freeze, what an explain. Interesting. PC certainly doesn't appear to be working very hard. This is a disappointment. I was enjoying our short little flight in. Let's see if I can get Task Manager running. So, explain not responding. Interesting. Well, sorry guys, I was having fun there, thinking about our arrival in. Where did we get to? Just south of Benson, just over Compton. Don't think that's going to recover either. Only using 6 gig of memory, interestingly enough. Yeah, that looks dead. How disappointing. I don't think it's going to respond, but you never know. Explain bites the dust again. This is pretty infuriating, to be honest. Oh well, time to look at the log. Apologies guys, call it a day there. Maybe I'll do some flying again later. Just try to think if it might be ex-Europe or anything like that loading up. I don't know, there's usually nothing in the log. There's often a TDR error. A TDR error that crops in, so you know it's definitely something X-Plane and Vulcan related, because I don't have these issues with anything else. So apologies, and well, I hope to see you again next time, hopefully tonight. Bye for now.